Okay, I am Mrs. Coleman, the special education teacher for Betsy Smith. This is the IEP meeting on September 13th, 2015. Betsy Smith is age 13 and she's in 7th grade at Johnson Middle School. This is also Betsy Smith, the student, 13 years old, and I am in Mrs. Olson's general education class.
And I'm speaking in for general education teacher, Miss Olson, and also Betsy's father, Joe.
And my name is MeiYee, and I will be the district representative and the note taker. And I will also be a stand-in for Rachel Smith, who is Betsy's mother. So thank you for inviting me.
Yes, and it looks like we have everybody who is listed on the IEP here today, so that is magnificent. I would like to go ahead and have Betsy introduce herself and tell us some of the things that she likes to do. So, Betsy. My name is Betsy Smith. I go to school here at Johnson Middle School. I like to hang out with my friends and play sports and sometimes watch TV.
Great. Thank you, Betsy.
Okay. Thank you, Betsy. So again, this is Mrs. Coleman, the special education teacher. We would like to go ahead and dismiss Betsy to class and get started with the meeting with the adults, if that's okay. Okay? So, thank you, Betsy. Have a great day. So now we'd like to go over some of Betsy's strengths and weaknesses with her general education teacher, Mrs. Olson, if that's okay. Okay.
So some of Betsy's strengths within my classroom, she is at a 3rd grade reading level, so that is a little bit of a weakness. But she is able to comprehend 7th grade reading material when spoken to her out loud. And she also has magnificent relationships with her peers and friends in class, and has very little behavioral problems as well.
Okay, thank you, Mrs.
You're
Olson. Mr. Smith, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, at home, Betsy she doesn't really act out at all, and she seems to talk highly about being in school and class, and says that she has lots of friends, so.
Okay, and Mrs. Smith, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, one of the things I'd notice is that she does get a little irritated when she's doing her homework, so I try and talk to her about that. So that's something I think we should all kind of discuss.
Okay.
Will that be in the IEP?
Yes, definitely.
Perfect. Okay.
So,
thank you.
And if anything else comes up while we're going, please feel free to jump
Okay.
in and let us know, because your
Thank you
input
very
is
much.
very, very critical to make sure that that Betsy is doing successfully in
Great.
school. So some of the things that we noticed again is that Betsy is at the 3rd grade reading level. While she's able to understand the material, she does make mistakes, and that's probably what you're seeing, Mrs.
Yes.
Smith. She does have a quick grasp of the essential material she reads, but Betsy is a very tense reader who has uneven and inconsistent phonics. So that is one of the things that we want to make sure that we're looking into. And then she also has poor sight vocabulary, meaning that she's not able to identify the words as quickly as we would like for her
Okay.
to. And then she's also doing some reversals of letters and words, which is something that we sometimes see with children who do have a learning disability. And so we're going to try to strengthen that area as well. Yes.
As a district representative, I just wanted to know, I'm acting as the principal at the school. Is there anything that the teacher might have noticed or yourself might have noticed that, or how are we documenting her progress in this? Or I guess, because I don't see Betsy all the time as the principal since I'm moving around a lot. Does she, during class time, does she kind of tell you her frustrations or anything like that? I was just wondering. I'm not, because I don't interact with Betsy too much.
So that would be
I can
Mrs.
speak.
Olson.
I can speak on Betsy's behalf. So when she is given material in class, she seems to be, you know, you can kind of tell in her facial expression, she's kind of frustrated with the material she's given. She doesn't really explode and have, you know, huge panic attacks, but I definitely do see, like, frustration, and I make note of that as her teacher.
Okay.
So when those days or incidences happen.
Thank you.
Yes, and then also to add on to that, Mrs. Olson has also given me some of her her papers that she's done in class and whatnot, and it looks like her handwriting skills need some help in those, as well as in math. We believe due to the poor reading skills, she's also struggling with reversals of letters and words, which can be difficult in math class.
Great, thanks, guys.
Yes. So her present levels of functional performance, and Mrs. Smith and Mr. Smith, is to clarify, this is more her communication, motor, social behavior, life and adaptive skills. So in her communication, Betsy expresses herself well and has great insights and feelings about her learning difficulties. So that is a very positive thing, that she's able to tell us what she's having difficulties with. And in addition, she has a great sense of humor. Mrs. Olson can speak to that as well.
I agree, yes.
Yeah, and so she seems to be doing really well with her social relationships. So that's something that we can draw on, that can be very good for Betsy.
As Rachel, as her mother, I really appreciate you guys seeing that she's got a sense of humor, because that's one of the things that I try and have her overcome her struggles with, just, you know, being able to kind of talk about it. And she does tell me, you know, that her teachers and yourself, that, you know, they break things down for me. So that's important to hear, because as her mother, you know, that's my main concern.
Absolutely. As far as her motor skills, again, we believe that Betsy has poor visual motor coordination, and again, that's reflected in her handwriting skills.
Okay.
And then her life and adaptive skills, we believe that by 7th grade, her reading skills should be a little bit stronger, and we're concerned that Betsy has become discouraged due to her lack of significant improvement over the years. And so Betsy's ability to be successful has directly correlated with her frequent absences from school. So that's one of the things that we'd like to address with you guys, too, is just to make sure that she is getting to school. Sometimes children become very, very frustrated, and they may say that they're sick and different things like that because they don't want to have to deal with what's going on at school. So we think it's also best for her to try to be in school as much as possible, so that we can make sure that she's getting drawing on the skills that she needs. Okay.
Well, we do apologize. We have lots of family vacation.
We do.
No worries.
And as her father, I mean, I side with her.
Yeah.
all the time. She kind of wins me over, so
absolutely,
it's happened a few times.
Completely understandable. So we'll just keep moving right on. We do not believe that Betsy needs the extended school year.
Okay.
Or that Betsy's behavior negatively impacts her learning. And so far, it seems like everything has been addressed up to this point.
Yes.
Rachel, Jill, do you guys both agree with that?
Yes, and I forgot to note, but thank you for printing out a copy of the IEP for us to kind of follow along with you, because I think that was really helpful.
And then, Mrs. Olson, do you have anything to add up to this point?
I think you basically covered it. I mean, I think with a plan set for Betsy, that she is going to be able to improve, because, you know, she's she's a happy little kid, and, you know, I think just with, you know, encouragement from both her teachers and her peers in class, she can make improvement. And her peers also seem to be, they don't laugh at her or anything when she can't, you know, understand the material given or read it, or they don't kind of make fun of her or anything like that. So I think that's a positive.
Yeah, and I think it's important that you guys noted what you see as her teachers, because, you know, being at home with her, doing homework with her is a little bit different from, you know, what you guys do at school. So I really appreciate you guys making the concerns that I completely mirror. So, perfect.
Okay, so now we are going to go ahead and move into her measurable annual goals, things that we would like to work on through this year.
Okay.
And we will specifically touch on benchmarks as she goes through.
Okay.
So, within math, we'll do it subject by subject,
Okay.
but within math, within 1 year, Betsy will be able to improve not being able to solve basic mathematical word problems to simple word problems. And her second goal for math will be within 1 year, Betsy will improve her math writing skills from reversing 95% of her numbers to only reversing 65% of her numbers per handout.
Perfect.
The criteria for evaluating this will be Mrs. Olson and myself. We will be doing math assessments and curriculum data collection, and through the teacher observations, as well as with her work with me. With her reading benchmarks, we would like to, by November 13th, 2015, Betsy will improve from a 3.1 reading level, which she's at now, to a 3.4 reading level.
Okay.
As measured by teacher observations and fluency assessments. And her second reading goal will be by February 13th, 2016. We would like to see Betsy improve from a 3.4 reading level to a 3.8 reading level, as measured by teacher observations and fluency assessments. Okay. Now, this may seem like, well, she's in 7th grade, but she's only, at the 3rd grade level, and by the end of the year, or close to the end of the year, she'll be 4th grade level. But we don't want to push her too fast and make her become more discouraged. We want to be able to work with her and have her see her successes. So that
and I think that was one of the things, reading. As a mother, I think that was one of the things that I was concerned about. I don't want her to continue on and get farther behind in her reading skills.
Yes,
so.
Absolutely. So what we will do to make sure that we're staying in contact with you guys and make sure that you, Rachel and Joel, are part of this process is through parent conferences with Mrs. Olson and myself, as well as we'll do another annual IEP meeting, and if something comes up and you guys feel that another IEP meeting needs to be pulled up, then definitely let's work on that.
I have a question. When we see, let's say she gets better, then if she really works on her reading and I help her at home with her reading skills and her vocabulary, if she does better than what's expected of her, what happens then? Can I just request a change, or?
You can always request a change.
Okay.
You can always request a meeting with the IEP, with the people who are here at the IEP meeting. If there's somebody else that you would like to come in, you can also let us know that too. Just send us an email and we'll go through
And do I contact you mainly, or do I contact her teacher?
You'll want to send us an email, and then we'll start that process of setting up a date.
Okay.
So no, that's perfectly fine. If we see that she's improving, then definitely we can begin moving on to the next stages and begin to review that information. We will have her doing some different accommodations to assist with her learning disability.
Learning goals as well. So, do you want me to go over them?
Yes, why don't you?
So, her test will be read out loud.
Okay.
Which will be really helpful to her since she can't comprehend, the material that's on the page. Oral assessments, so we can ask, all the questions we need to know about certain subject material, and I'm certain that she'll know the answers.
Okay.
And also extra time to complete assignments in class, so that she feels like she's not rushed and can go at it at her own pace. So I think those 3 things will really help her out. She's our student, so.
And then when Mrs. Olson is having tests and stuff like that, I will pull her beforehand. I'll have a copy of the test, and so we'll begin to preview the test procedures so that it doesn't become an issue of being able to read those procedures and then taking time away from her being able to do the test. We'll simplify the test wording as well. We'll be making sure that we're reading the class materials orally so that she can also hear them and read along with them. And then we will also be assigning a peer tutor note taker in Mrs. Olson class so that when if she's not getting the notes, then she has somewhere to draw from for those notes.
Okay. It'll really help her out.
And then with her timing and scheduling, like we said, we'll give her extra time to complete assignments in class, and we'll also be giving her extra time on tests and quizzes.
Okay.
So we'll make sure that that we're reading the class materials orally. And if necessary, we also have the option of letting her take tests in a separate location so that she doesn't feel like she's under time crunches because other children are finishing.
I was going to say she doesn't always get really anxious about it, but I think she has told me at certain times where she's like, I feel like I have to hurry and finish, but, you know, and I tell her, just, it's okay if you need more time, just ask the teacher, you know, because she'll do it for you. So,
and then we will also be utilizing oral responses to assignment and tests so that she doesn't feel, again, very stressed out about having to write those answers and perform in that manner.
Okay.
Is there anything that Joe or Rachel that you guys would like to bring up at this point?
No.
Go ahead. I have one thing. So if we do notice a day that she may be like acting out or faking being sick at home, what do you think the best thing is to do or make her want to come to school? I know it's a tough question for you as a teacher, but what do you think would help out?
I mean, I think both of you guys are going to have to use your best judgment. I think one of the things that will be helpful is by looking at her planner and going online to look at her assignments and stuff like that to see if there's something that's maybe big that's coming up that's stressing her out.
Yeah.
And kind of reassuring her, you know, that no, your teachers are going to be here working with you.
Yeah.
I think once she begins to see the accommodations that are happening for her and feels really taken care of, then she'll be more willing to want to come to school.
That's good.
And know that she's going to get the necessary help and not be, not feel like she can't do things in class.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes. So, with her actual pull-out time with me, Mrs. Coleman, she will be doing 100 minutes a week for reading, where I will pull her out and do the different assessments with her. We'll go through the different writing fluencies and different things like that. And that will also be reading and writing both each at 100 minutes per week separately.
Okay.
So,
now, will she be doing those with you, or is there difference? I mean, you know. Okay.
No, she'll be doing those with me.
Okay.
Since I'm a special education teacher, I'll be going over that information with her. We'll try to get her writing, you know, better, more identifiable, and we'll also be working on her math. As well as going to her general education classes and getting what she needs from Mrs. Olson classes too. We don't want to take too much time away from her general education class so that she's not getting what she needs.
And then how are you guys going to be doing that? Or is there going to be cues for her to practice on? Or I know we mentioned about helping her with the writing and things like that.
Yes, so there's a couple of different things that we're going to be doing. As far as not being able to write legibly, we are going to have her do, like we said before, some of the tracing cues. And so I will have her trace letters.
Okay.
It seems kind of redundant at this point, and it may even seem like that at first for her. But once she gets more practicing writing, then she'll be able to write better legible sentences. One of the other things that we'll be doing is using the graphic organizers. And I believe I've given one to each of you guys. Thank you. But the graphic organizers will also help her with her writing to make it a little bit more visually appealing for her since she's having trouble with reading. So those are some of those things. Are there any other questions at this point?
I think we covered everything that we need to know from this point forward.
Okay, so are you guys feeling comfortable with the time that she's going to be doing in special education? She'll still be having about 80% time in her general education classes, and then we'll be doing the pull-outs within special education to work on those areas that she's having difficulty.
I'm comfortable with that.
Okay, and Mrs. Olson, are you also comfortable with that?
Yeah, I think that's a minimal amount of time so she won't miss what we're learning in class. So I think she'll be on track still.
Okay, so everybody has a copy of this. If I can have everyone please go ahead and sign their copy, and then I will make copies of those signature pages and have everybody go sent out. So, and if there's any questions or concerns that you guys have for Betsy, then please feel free to give us a call and let us know. And again, feel free to communicate with Mrs. Olson or myself or Mrs. Tam.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.